great. Welcome back to Asinine Radio, a weekly podcast where we talk about music, and, well, that's pretty much it. So, let's go! Maggots. That one spooked
This
me.
is Asinine Radio. This is the weekly music podcast where every week we take whatever band or artist we're doing and we rank all of their records. So this week we're doing Marilyn Manson. We're going to be ranking his 11 studio albums plus his one EP, the only EP that really matters, honestly. But before we do that, we're going to do our 6 Degrees with Tom DeLonge. But while you're listening, go to Apple Podcasts, go rate, review, and subscribe to us on there. Give us 5 stars on Spotify. We have a Discord server if you want the code for that. Hit us up, we'll send it to you. We also have a phone number you can call or text us. I forgot the phone number, but I'm looking it up right now. I'm just stalling. The phone number is 503-893-5307, so get into that. And if you didn't already know, my name is Tyler, and way out there, hundreds of miles away, is Jeff. And then even further than that, another probably 800 miles past that,
Getting way excited.
I'm very excited because we have a guest. We don't have guests very often. We don't have them very often, but we have our boy Skip, all the way from lovely old England. So
Merry old England. Hello, chaps. Literally,
There he
it's
is.
a pleasure to be here.
All we do is make fun of the accent constantly on the podcast.
Oh, I love it. It's great. It's literally great. I like you're always
we say
you're
that
always
so much. We say
I
literally
know.
so much.
You're so London, Jeff. London, Jeff. Yeah.
London Jeff. Literally.
London, literally. Yeah, from the south.
the Queen's
Yeah.
English.
Hello. Oh, the Queen.
Oh,
Oh, she's
boy.
lovely. Anyway.
All right, so yeah, we have our friend Skip on the pod to help navigate us through this Marilyn Manson listen through, and obviously our album of the week is going to be Antichrist Superstar, so stay tuned for that one as well. But let's just jump right into our 6 Degrees of Tom DeLonge. So I only have one. Jeff and Skip each have 3, so just get into it, boys.
Cool.
We should set up an order of who goes when.
Just
Because then it's
get
gonna
yours
get
over with,
confusing.
because yours is probably dumb. So just get it over with, and then we'll
Mine
pretend
is
to laugh, and then we'll do our good ones.
Well,
Yeah.
mine's very easy. So we start with Twiggy Ramirez. He's the bass player, obviously. Twiggy was also in 9 Inch Nails at a certain point, which Josh Freese was also in at the same time. Josh Freese has played with Blink and Blink to Tom. So there you go. Easy peasy right
Easy peasy lemon squeezy.
Nice. So mine
So-
is similar. My first one.
Okay.
Again, we'll start with Geordie or Twiggy or whatever you want to call him. Played with 9 Inch Nails. Trent Reznor, currently playing with Elan to Angels and Airwaves. Obviously, he's co-written the last couple of records with Tom. There's Tom. Nice and
There you
easy.
go.
Look at
Very
that.
easy.
I have split mine into decades. I have a 90s one, a 2000s one, and a 2010s one. That's what I
Shit.
did this week. I
Whoa,
went crazy.
You did more work.
I did.
I love the dedication.
Where do you want to start? Do you want me to start with the oldest or the newest?
Let's start with the newest.
Okay.
Yeah.
This is 2010. So this is a little cheesy one, but Marilyn Manson was a guest star in the show Californication, that also at some point had Pete Wentz as a guest star. Pete Wentz and Mark Hoppus did a super shitty song together for the Alice in Wonderland
That song
soundtrack.
is so good. That
And,
song is so good.
Obviously, Mark knows Tom. That song sucks, dude. It's fucking trash.
That song is great. I used to fucking love it too when it came out. We used to listen to it all the time. You loved
just
that
because
song
it
back
had
then.
Mark on it. Anything Mark puts out, I'm
mean-
gonna listen to over and over and over.
It's a terrible
That's silly.
fucking movie.
Well, yeah, the movie.
Yeah, the movie is awful.
The song's great though. All right,
Is it?
that was a good one though. I like that one.
That's
Have you
cool.
heard that song, Skip?
I have, and it's terrible. But it's got Mark
God
on.
damn it.
Mark, who sounds a bit like Kermit the Frog. Yeah,
He does kind of sound like him.
You guys are
he
the
does,
worst.
man. He does. I love him though.
How can you not?
Exactly. Cool. My second degrees of 6, or second 6 degree. Gil Sharon, touring drummer with Brian and the Marilyn Mansons. Or keyboardist, not drummer. Can't read my own writing. And also he ended up playing with Plus 44. Plus 44 has our boy Mark and not so much boy Travis. And those guys, they've hung out with Tom once or twice. So another easy one.
Yeah, that is an easy one. I didn't know one of the keyboardists played in Plus 44, at least live. I didn't know that.
Yeah, he was live. I think he might have been second guitar. But yeah, he's
Okay.
a multi-instrumentalist / muso for hire. Our Gil. Good old Gil.
Good
Shit,
old
yeah, I didn't know
Gil.
that. All right, what do you got, Jeff?
Cool. This is a fun one. This is from the 2000s. But I think this was 2000s. Yeah, this has been. So Marilyn Manson took on Charles Manson in a fight to the death on the pilot episode of Celebrity Deathmatch. And he killed him. Marilyn Manson killed Charles Manson on Celebrity Deathmatch by pulling the skeleton out of Charles Manson's mouth. They called it the Tahitian skeleton pull of death. That's how he won.
I love it.
But don't forget
That's
that
incredible.
98 Degrees took on Blink 182 on the same show. But fun fact is that no real voices from Blink were actually used. So it was kind of a little bit cheating one, but it was really funny. And I had to bring in Celebrity Deathmatch because that was my intro to Marilyn Manson.
Oh, wow.
Oh, okay, there you go.
Foreshadow.
Did not know that. Wow.
Preview.
Wow. Man, Celebrity Deathmatch, that was quite the show. That was unreal.
It was amazing.
How funny that show was.
Oh, that was some great shit, man. We're old.
Yeah, we are.
Yeah, we're getting there.
unfortunately.
We're getting there.
Not us. Yeah, it's fine. It's fine.
It's fine.
Yeah. So my last one, again, music, band member related as opposed to our boy Marilyn. Juan Alderete, or Aldere, how you want to pronounce it. Our boy Juan, obviously touring bass player for the last Manson lineup, and plays on We Are Chaos. You just can't get a break, can he, Juan? It's not going well.
I know, right?
Jesus, man. But obviously he played in a little band called the Mars Volta until Omar accused him of being a sociopath. And Omar and Cedric were also in that band, or it is their band. Omar and Cedric to Anti-Mask to Travis, who obviously played drums on this still as yet to be released Anti-Mask 2 record and did that last tour. And Travis to Tom. Nice and simple.
There you go.
Yeah.
That was all were very simple, except for Jeff's Celebrity Deathmatch. That one was a little bit different.
I'm
but-
looking forward to Jeff's 90s one. I love the 90s.
I know.
This is the easiest one.
So what do you
and
got?
it's a little cheesy, but Marilyn Manson was in a movie called Party Monster with Seth Green, and Seth Green was in Idle Hands, and obviously Blink was in Idle Hands.
Oh, I hadn't.
Yeah, one of the few movies
Tom was
that
the
Tom was
drive-through
in.
guy. Yep. All right, cool.
That's it.
So
All I got,
that's
kids.
our 6 degrees of Tom DeLonge.
Yeah.
We did it. We actually did it. So let's just jump right into the album rankings. So like I said, we're gonna be ranking his 11 studio albums plus the 1 EP, the Smells Like Children, and then we're also gonna give our biggest banger if we have one, and go from there. So let's do the order with let's do Jeff, Skip, and then myself. Sound good?
Sweet.
That's good.
All right,
like
that'll be the order. That'll be the order for this as well as the album of the week, just so there's no confusion. So, what do you got, Jeff? Go for your number 12.
So my number 12 here is Mechanical Animals. This is what
Really?
this is what we were going to do. And I didn't finish this. I couldn't finish this album. This was so dumb. Like songs like The Dope Show were still pretty cool. Like I like it. It's fun, probably because of nostalgia really, but I don't know, the title track sucked. And it was the song Mechanical Animals where I'm just getting more frustrated with like Manson's presentation. It's just the way he sings. It's very irritating here. And it's not about like what he says. It's just his lack of any sort of melody. It's just sort of different and unique, and we accept it as being good. It's not. It is not. Sometimes it is not. And this album as a whole has some solid ups, but it just has so many very, very deep downs. And it's just, Dude, this was awful, awful, awful. And the best parts of this one are the ones that are essentially just trying to be like industrial techno, like post-human, like fucking banger of a song. I playlisted that one because it was a banger. And
That is a good song. That is a good one.
and Manson does like his Manson thing, and he just kind of yells, but there's still like no melody or anything, and it's just the instrumentals supplement that just by going hard at it. So we're kind of distracted by the fact that Manson is pretty boring most of the time. But this is a solid little industrial techno song, and I fucking loved it. But this album, like I said, I couldn't finish this album. I will never finish this.
I'm shocked it's that low. I can't believe it's that low because there's some trash albums. And
Oh man, yeah.
wow, yeah, I can't believe you put this at 12. Wow.
I was very, very worried about this listen through. I was like, if they're all going to sound like this, I don't know if I can do this.
Wow.
Oof.
All right, Skip. What do you got for your number 12?
I mean, I can't believe. I mean, you missed the best track, Jeff, by not finishing that album. But that's cool. Don't worry about it.
If the best track is later on, I'll write it down and go back and listen to it.
Oh yeah. I mean, we'll get there. I mean, I think our rankings are going to be a little different. Number
Yeah, it
12
sounds like
in last place, and it's in last place by a way. It's his second to last record, his 10th record, Heaven Upside Down. I've just written in large letters, Trash Fire. So it was his second album with Tyler Bates. It almost didn't happen. They toured together. They had a massive fallout. They had like a physical fight on stage at one point. And then we're like,
The box cutter.
and then he set up, is it Box Cutter Records or something? Yeah.
Yeah.
And they're like, no, we're cool, me and Brian. Oh man, it's just, I mean, you talk about lack of melody on Mechanical Animals. Fuck me. Like there is nothing on this album.
Yeah.
It's way too long, which is just an issue across his discography. But like it took me a couple of goes to get through this. Jesus. Like I think the only thing
you had never listened to it before?
I had, but I'd completely forgotten it existed.
Okay.
I think I just removed it from my canon. The song Jesus Crisis is the closest to like a good song, and I think it's because it's so stupid and so repetitive. You know that I write songs to fat and to fuck. I was like, oh mate, it's kind of funny, but it sort of reminded me of his real early stuff. You know, his Portrait era, because it's kind of silly. And repetitive, and I kind of hope it's tongue in cheek, because if not, oh Brian. So
Dude,
yeah,
yes.
like it's just bad. Sorry, it's no.
You're not gonna be sorry.
It's his worst
All right,
album. But no, I'm saying sorry to him, you know, and to the audience.
Okay.
Yeah, number 12, Heaven Upside Down.
All right, so my number 12 is We Are Chaos. His last record, 11th record, came out just in 2020. This is the only record he's done with Shooter Jennings, who's the son of Waylon Jennings. If nobody knows that, I think this album probably stemmed from, I don't know if you guys remember a couple years ago, Manson and Jonathan Davis were supposed to work on at least a song or an album together, and they said it was going to be like a country thing that they were going to do. I think that was probably scrapped to make this with Shooter Jennings, considering his lineage. But this record sucked, man. It's fucking trash. I mean, there's just not a lot going on here. It just kind of like trudges along, and luckily this is his shortest record, clocking in at like 41 minutes or something like that. So that was kind of nice, finally getting to the end of this discography, and then you have a short album. But yeah, I have nothing really positive to say about it. There's nothing memorable. I have no banger. There's nothing that was a outright stinker on here, but damn, is it forgettable. And I just don't know why they even put it out. I guess they even wanted to. They were going to do a second record together, but then it just what they were starting to write just wasn't working out, and there was kind of a falling out. So they just decided not to put out a second one or write a second one, which is for the best. So. That's my number 12. We Are Chaos. So, what do you got for number 11, Jeff? Go.
I will say that my top four, my top three for sure. I want to buy in the vinyls. The fourth one I would also get, and I'm pretty sure it's available everywhere. Everything else, no, not at all, not even close.
That's fair. I feel the same way. My top 3 I'd get on vinyl as well.
But yeah, with that, my number 11.
11, yeah.
Yeah,
We're on
11.
We're only on 11.
Yeah, my number 11 is Hollywood or Hollywood in the Shadow of the Valley of Death. It's his fourth album.
Okay.
Fucking boring. Nothing exciting here except for it just came after like the atrocious Mechanical Animals. Blah. But I felt these songs just to be very similar to each other and nothing really popped on its own. Very vanilla stuff. So it just didn't push his sound any farther than we've already heard. And it didn't like do a good job at rehashing the current sound. It was just meh. It was just vanilla. Just mush. Boring. I have no bangers.
Are you sure you listened to the record?
Yeah.
Are you high? Are you high, Jeff?
Boring,
This is just
boring
wild.
stuffs.
This is just wild.
Dude,
I mean-
the biggest dupe on like the population of Earth is thinking that Manson is an exciting vocalist in any capacity. It is, he does the same fucking thing over and over and over. He never even really yells. Very, very, very rarely does he actually yell. Most of the time it's just he's getting real close to the mic and just talking very heavily and then turning the volume up to make it seem like he's yelling. He never really screams, but he kind of has like a weird kind of vocal fry to him that makes it sound like he's kind of screaming when they turn it up really loud. I cannot believe how lame Manson is, honestly.
Oh, I love it. You're just destroying Skip's dream.
Dude,
right now.
I will
the
say
king
though,
of
like
controversy, man.
my top three are fucking goddamn near perfect albums for sure. They're so fucking good. 4 is good. I would want to buy it. Everything else is just, like we've been duped. This guy's a joke.
All right. Hollywood is your number 11. So Skip, what do you got for number 11 after that disappointment?
Fucking hell, mate. Yeah. Night is Manson's way. Anyway, whatever. We'll get into it. It's going to be a long night. My number 11 is We Are Chaos. It was nice in some ways, I guess, to try and see him be a little bit more. I'm going to use the word mature in italics here. You can't see. I'm doing that finger thing. Laser beam. So there's a lot of Bowie influence on this. I know you guys aren't super into Bowie or have listened to a lot, and from what you're saying, Jeff, maybe don't. Like the guitars, lots of acoustic. It's quite a cohesive record, I guess, in a way. But equally, like, absolutely nothing stands out. I was really disappointed considering, Juan supposedly plays on this album. And, usually bass is all over the place with Manson, but no. Couple of things. I mean, Paint You With My Love, Brian doing an actual love song. That was quite sweet. He's seeing a German-based artist, I believe. So that was, and he's done painting for years now. So that was quite sweet, actually, to him actually pen a real, actual, love song to someone. And then the closest to a banger, it's not a banger, it's a sub-banger, would be Keep My Head Together. It's got a cool little bass riff. It's got some of that glam kind of stomp that has always been over his records, It's okay. That's yeah, it exists.
You can't say it's not much better than okay. I mean, it's
yeah. I mean,
it's
if someone gave it to me, I'd probably still never listen to it. But yeah, I just feel really bad for Juan, man. Like, a time when he really needed money and stuff. Obviously, this tour never really happened because of the stuff that happened. Yeah.
Which we'll touch upon a bit on the main episode.
We will.
The various allegations. So,
but yeah.
all right. So number 11, We Are Chaos for you. My number 11 is Heaven Upside Down, 10th record from 2017. I pretty much agree with everything that Skip said. This is just straight up a boring record. This is the second one with Tyler Bates, and I don't know why they worked together. Yeah, maybe they got along at some point, but he's not that good of a songwriter. I don't feel like he is, because these songs are fucking boring. and that's all I have about Heaven Upside Down. I got no banger. It's just
I mean,
lot of the same. Just
Twiggy
stuff.
declined to play on it, and I think that's says everything really.
Well,
He
no,
was like-
no, he didn't. He didn't because I read that too on the wiki or whatever. But I remember I used to listen to that podcast that he had, that Hour of Goon, and on the Hour of Goon, him and Fred were talking about this specific record, or being in Manson still, and he was saying, yeah, they recorded an album, and I didn't even know that they were doing it, and he's like, that's fine, I don't mind, I don't care, but yeah, he had no involvement with
wow.
it, but it wasn't his own doing. It was just that Manson didn't tell him that they were recording a new record.
That's kind of
So,
worse, really.
Yeah.
Oh, Goon Moon though, great band.
Yeah, they're a rad band, super rad band. But but yeah, so that's my my number 11, Heaven Upside Down. So Jeff, what do you got for number 10? Go.
Is Heaven Upside Down? That's what I got. Pretty
It's
much
two
for
places too
the
high.
Finally, something right.
yeah, for the same reasons you guys have said. He just he doesn't have much to say here. This record's slow, and again, Manson just doesn't have almost any range. It's boring, and he never changes his singing style ever. It's just, God, why does he do this? It's so irritating. And this one was super annoying because of the way they misspell all these little fucking words. Like they were gonna try and call. They originally support, according to the wiki here, that they wanted to call the record "Say 10," like SAY,
Yeah.
with the number 10. It's like, dude, that's
It's so cheesy.
that's cute and clever if you're like 16, not when you're 10 albums deep and you have this persona of to live up to, this whole charade that you've been putting on for 20 plus years. It's just, this album's dumb. It's childish and it's stupid. I have no bangers.
All right, it's fair. That's fair. All right, Skip, what do you have for number 10 then?
Cool, number 10. So we're going back in time a little bit. We come up with Eat Me, Drink Me.
Okay.
So I remember this album coming out. It was the first album that came out where I was sort of an active fan, I guess. I would have been like 16, 17. There's some great ideas on this album. Like, I really think they do. It's his only true sort of goth album in terms of the actual musical movement. It kind of started over here in England. That kind of came out of post-punk and, Susan the Banshees and all of that, The Cure, things like that. It's the only real... Obviously, there's a lot of guitar on this album with Tim Skold. Very little sort of keyboard and stuff. It's vocally, I think, his worst album. He blew his voice out on the Golden Age tour quite badly because he's had, obviously, no vocal training. And you can hear that it's just... I mean, it's really weirdly produced as well. But like his voice just sounds fucking awful across this album. But there are some good songs. There is some terrible moments. I think the murder, kill, happy rape chant from You and Me and the Devil Makes Three might be the dumbest thing he's ever recorded. But there we go. It's not my banger of choice, but I do enjoy Mutilation is the most sincere form of flattery, just because it's got a bit of swag to it. It's got that glam thing that is one of his strongest sets. And it was written as a fuck you to My Chemical Romance and all the kind of emo bands that sort of took this kind of edgelord, Danger to America kind of thing away from him at the turn of the 2000s, apparently. But my banger, which I actually think is a banger, is the title track, Eat Me, Drink Me. It's interesting musically. It reminds me of tracks like Coma White from, the previous decade. The guitars are kind of got some cool sounds. It's lots of some fun panning and stuff going on. Obviously, it's heavily influenced by Alice in Wonderland, but it's also, I think, kind of a dig at Evan. Because their relationship, or whatever it was, and I'm obviously going to be very careful with what we say and, everything, but I always think it was very kind of frictious, and like I think it was very sort of intense, but the lyrics, she's been forecast with an attempt to kill herself, but the ending didn't test well. And this is something that crops up for the next few albums at this time, was his references to filming and actresses and stuff, and obviously she was just breaking into the industry then. And I remember this is the era that I saw him live the first time. And he even had an animatronic Evan Rachel on like come on stage and hand him
Oh,
absinthe. It was very weird.
that's very bizarre.
Very bizarre. It's an amazing stage show, and I'll probably touch more on it when we get into the main episode. But yeah, it's. I just see it as a kind of subtle dig because obviously her career, she was supposed to be a superstar, and it never really happened. Until even now, like I suppose Westworld has done really well, but she was going to be like the next big movie star. At that time, all the hype and stuff. So I do feel it's sort of a sly dig. But yeah, that's it. Eat Me, Drink Me. It's a good album. It's just got some filler. It drags a little bit, and the production is bad.
Yeah, I kind of agree with you on that one.
Okay.
So my number 10 is also Eat Me, Drink Me. So this is, I don't know if you said, but this is 2007, his sixth record. This one was the first and only album that Tim Skold worked on. He wrote all the music on it, and then Twiggy once again replaced him, or once again rejoined the band. But overall, this record just kind of, everything's kind of mid-tempo. Nothing really stands out too much to me outside of the one song, which is my banger. It's Heart-Shaped Glasses, just because it's very like dancey. It has a really great drum beat, some really good bass lines. But outside of that, the album doesn't really shine. It kind of just really kind of falls flat for me, at least. But yeah, like reading about it lyrically, it was kind of about the breakup with Dita Von Teese, and then a little bit, like you said, with Evan Rachel Wood. But otherwise, yeah, this album just doesn't do much for me. I would never go back to it, and yeah, that's all I really got to say about Eat Me, Drink Me. That wasn't already said, so that's what I got for number 10. So what do you got, Jeff, for number 9? Go.
Number 9, The Pale Emperor, their ninth album, 2015. These next like 3 or 4 are just, they could go up and down 3-4 spots, doesn't really matter. But this one was hard just because it was just more of this like heavy electronic sound I've been hearing and just updated a little bit. I don't know, it's still boring.
Yeah.
Like nothing here excited me, and this like middle ground of Manson was hard to get through because it wasn't like bad. Like this isn't terrible. It's just boring. And that's always like the hardest to get through when it's boring. Like I like Mechanical Animals so much because I love to hate it. And then my top 3, like I love so much because they're really, really good. But everything else in the middle I thought was really fucking boring. And I was just getting burnt out too.
To hate it.
Dude, I was just getting burnt out listening to Manson. These albums are like an hour long. Like, come on, dude. Yeah. But it's like the same fucking song. Just like 8 albums in a row this guy's doing. I have no banger from Pale Emperor, and I don't even remember what it fucking sounded like. No recollection of listening to it whatsoever, except for this paragraph that I wrote about it.
Wow. Okay, that's fine. I totally understand. So what do you got for number 9, Skip?
We're actually matching up now. Snap! It's the Pale Emperor. Jeff he's calmed down. He's come off whatever trip he was on, and he's back out of Silly Land. Yeah, I mean it's weird. So this was lauded as a comeback, and I'm still not sure why. First one with Tyler Bates. I mean, it kind of put him back on the scene a little bit, I guess. Obviously, one of the songs was in the was it John Wick 1? Killing Strangers. Yeah. I remember being like, oh, Brian's back, which was cool, I guess. I like some bits of this album. I like the idea of him trying to do a blues record, essentially. Like his voice, his kind of monotony, kind of drawl. It suits that, and it has a bit more swag back in this album. Which is cool. Stuff like Mephistopheles of Los Angeles. It's fun to say. It was nice to him. Yeah, there's that glam kind of vibe. A lot of it's kind of lyrically a bit more off the cuff. There's some silly wordplay. It's stuff that's classic Marilyn Manson, which is cool. But it's just boring. And some of it's bad. Like Worship My Wreck, that can just go. Fuck that off. Stuff like but there's some silliness in it again. I think my favorite track was the single Third Day of a 7-Day Binge. It's got a good bass groove, which is again a classic Marilyn Manson kind of thing, and it's almost got a sort of Nick Cave vibe, when Nick Cave was kind of a bit more dangerous, which I'm a big Nick Cave fan, so that was cool. He's not trying to be like the king of controversy or like harken back to his 90s. He's just, singing a rock and roll blues song. And that's the best bit of that whole album. But yeah, as a comeback, I don't understand. So yeah, Pale Emperor. There it is.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm with both of you guys. This is my number 9 as well.
Damn.
It's pretty damn boring, and the first song starts. It's kind of like a little bit of a blues rock thing, and it does stand out. It definitely stands out. I'm like, okay, this album could actually be kind of good. The second song, okay, he's kind of still doing that. It's still kind of cool, but then after that, it's just another hour of just this kind of generic blues rock thing that he's doing, and I just don't get it. It was extremely dull, and yeah, that's all. I got no banger on this one. So yeah, number 9 is Pale Emperor. This is a boring one, no banger. So, what do you got, Jeff, for number 8?
Number 8, the Low End Theory. Just kidding. The High End of Low. Their 7th album, 2009. This one was bizarre because I thought there was a lot of like pretty good songs here. But then there's shit like Running to the Edge of the World, which is just ballad trash. Absolute trash. And there's a lot of different sounds here, and I respect him for trying to like lean heavily into pop, but like still keeping his edge. But he's just too old and tired for this shit. He's just too old for this shock value stuff that like we were shocked by in the 90s for sure. But I don't know. Like now, like Pretty as a Swastika, like come on, guy. This is done. This is tired. And even like the goddamn motherfucking Geddon. Like I thought this reading the title of the track on Spotify before it played, I thought like this one's gonna fucking murder my ears. This one's gonna drop and it's gonna be the craziest thing that he's ever done. And no, it was completely lackluster. It was a joke, and I don't know, just. It was stupid. And then, like, there's a story of like Manson bringing just the instrumentals of that song to the label execs, and them exclaiming,
"Oh yeah,
this could be a hit!" And then Manson getting all mad. This is just you guys don't understand music. That's just stupid fucking folklore. Stupid. I hate this so much. Like, I'm getting more mad just talking about it now.
But is it as ridiculous as like when Blink went into the Take Off Your Pants and Jacket during the Toy Page era when they go into the record executive's office and then they play the joke songs? Like that's just as ridiculous sounding as this Manson thing.
Yeah, but Blink never took themselves seriously. Manson took himself seriously from day one. It was just calm down.
That's kind of true.
And like
it's kind of true.
I get it. Like, this era is supposed to be an emotional and tumultuous time for him, but this music's lame. Lame. Like a duck.
But but like at some point though, you had to have kind of just come to you did already come to the realization that like not everything's going to be heavy, so then just kind of expect that and not expect something to be heavy when it's never been heavy. You know what I mean?
I didn't.
Like why are you still like you're 9 records in, and why are you expecting it to be heavy when you haven't heard a heavy record?
When you name your song Armagoddamn motherfucking Geddon, it better be good. It better be one of the best songs you've ever done. Okay? That's a fucking fact.
Okay.
You don't name your song Armagoddamn motherfucking Geddon and then write a shit song. That's just stupid.
Well, it's not a shit song.
It's a shit song.
It's not a shit song.
It's trash.
It's not a shit song.
It's awful.
This guy fucking saying Hollywood's is fucking number 11.
Dude, trash.
Get the fuck out of here.
Pretty as a Swastika? He's too old for this kind of shit, dude. Come on. Good Lord.
I agree. Some of the lyrics and titles are dumb,
both you guys and Brian Manson, whatever the fuck you want to call him. You guys are all stuck in this like Mechanical Animals era of shock value that's still fun and it's still cool and edgy. It's stupid. It was stupid then and it's stupid now.
I just don't understand, Jeff.
You went there.
I understand that he's hiding his shitty music with gimmicks and tricks and smoke screens. I get it. I've got it from day one.
That's rock and roll, baby. That's rock and roll.
Yeah, that's true. That's a good point. It is.
At least rock and rollers write good music, though.
God damn. All right. So obviously you don't have anything else left on the high end of. I almost said low end theory. Like you got that stuck in my head.
Mm-hmm.
Now. Fucking idiot. You got anything else on this record then?
No. I never want to talk about it again.
All right. You're dumb. All right, Skip. What do you got for number 8?
Cool, number 8. This might come as a surprise to some people. It's the golden age of grotesque.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, so, I mean, you talk about shock factor and shtick there, Mr. Jeff. I mean, like, the kind of build up to this record was, great. He was talking about, Weimar era Berlin, Dadaism, absurdism, all of these cool stuff. And what we actually got was Brian and co dressed as Nazis. Woo! I think it's the most dated in terms of production. It really sounds like early noughties. Those guitars are so dry, and it's just like great. You've got John Five, one of the best fucking guitar players, and this is what you let him do. It's just weird. Yeah, it's the first time, obviously, after the triptych, the first album, and I just feel like he hasn't really got anything to say other than Rose McGowan dumped me. And so the back half of that album is just shit breakup songs, man. It drags. And I loved this album as a teenager, but I don't think I'd listened to it for about 10 years. And coming back as a man in his 30s, I was like, oh, Brian, we get it. She dumped you. And I just think it's a shame. And I also think it was just a kind of creatively, he was kind of tapped out. The single is just a rip off of a Faith No More song. The Be Obscene is just Be Aggressive, be aggressive from Faith No More. I don't know if he did get sued, but I really think he should have been. And just, it's a disappointment, man. That concept was great. There's a couple of tracks that actually kind of do fulfill it. One is the title track, where he does that weird, silly kind of vocal, and there's upright bass, which Tim Skold said was his favorite part of the record. And then the most fun track, which is my standout, which is Dol Dagger Buzz Buzz Ziggity Zag, because that's great.
What a fucking title.
It's fun to say. It's fun. It came on and I'd forgotten it existed, and instantly I was literally spitting every word. I was like, oh yeah, all the quick wordplay, God of Venus not in first, but in uniform. If you're not dancing, then you're dead. I was like, oh, this is great stuff. And it's got that kind of 20s feel. It really actually hits the concept that he was, talking up. He's a great marketer. He's as great as his own PR guy. He always overtalks. The idea was great. The actual execution, most of the back half I could deal without. But yeah, that song is absolute killer. Playlisted. It's so fun. It's so silly. It's got, everything you want from a Marilyn Manson song. It's big, dumb rock and roll. And that's what he's best at. He's massive influence by Kiss and stuff. And you can really, take away all the bullshit, take away all the preacher man stuff. It's just rock and roll, and that's the best rock and roll song on the album.
That's fair. That's very fair. So my number 8 is "Smells Like Children," the EP from 1995. This might come as a surprise to some because apparently this is one of his most popular things he's ever put out, and I don't understand why. I mean, there's some cool stuff on here, but it's a lot of voice recordings and some remixes and covers. I don't know. And it clocks in at 50 or 45 minutes or something like that. So it's not even an EP. It's like a fucking record, which is weird. But I don't know, the story behind it, and the Tony Wiggins guy, that's kind of interesting. Or actually, I think that's pretty damn interesting. This is the first thing that Twiggy had been a part of with Manson after the first record. And I don't know, if I had to pick a banger, I would say the cover of Rock and Roll Ninja, just because that was a really cool, fast, upbeat song. And I've never heard the original. Have you guys heard the original?
Yeah, the Patti Smith version. Yeah.
I never ever heard it. But yeah, it's quite the title as well. So, of course, Marilyn Manson would choose this song, probably strictly because of the title.
I saw him play it, actually, quite later on. In 2009, he was still putting it in the set list. So,
what the fuck, man?
Yeah.
Really playing with fire, shit. But Smells Like Children, yeah, I don't really see the appeal that much. And then the Eurythmics cover, it's fine. It's fine. It's one of his most popular songs, but it's whatever. So yeah, that's all I got for number 8. So
Okay.
what do you got for number 7, Jeff? Go.
Eat Me, Drink Me. Eat Me, Drink Me.
Okay.
His sixth album, 2007. I thought this was like one of the weirdest ones so far in his chronological discography. They seem to be the first one that was like hard rock focused and had a lot of melodic songs. And the biggest takeaway here were like the guitar solos. I think this was only one of 2 albums that had this guitarist on it. And I don't know, sometimes there was solid, cool stuff, and sometimes it was just wanky and dumb, but like it was cool to hear like a progression in sound with guitar solos. And it was weird to think that they could incorporate really good, because they were good guitar solos too. Like they were put in there nicely. They weren't just thrown in there. And I thought it was, I don't know, it wasn't too crazy about this album, but I dug some of the tracks. And also, if the song If I Was Your Vampire, I think it was the first track, that sounded like just a reworking of their Sweet Dreams cover. It was the same pacing, the same vibe, the same notes, just like in different order, and it sounded exactly the same.
Was it?
But this was fine. I didn't hate this at all. I didn't like it. I mean, we're not in the 2s yet, at all.
Not in the 2s yet.
Not even close.
Yeah, I agree with you. Yeah, according to our 3-point rating system, yeah, we're not in 2s yet.
I'm probably still
me,
I'm probably still in like the 1.2 era here.
That's fair. I think I'm like
Barely.
1.25. I'd say
Yeah.
that's where I'm at too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Skip does not agree. He's pissed already. All right.
No, I'm under 2s.
He's been like stewing for the last like 20 minutes as we're talking shit on all these records.
Vigorously like
Cool.
shaking and convulsing.
Digging a pencil into my knee, just harder and harder.
All right, what do you got for number 7 then, Skip?
Number seven. Born Villain. Born
All right.
Villain, aka Brian read some Shakespeare. And worked with Shia LaBeouf. Very odd. I mean, that's when Shia went a bit weird, wasn't it? That was cool. Off topic. Anyway, Born Villain. So again, I remember this one coming out. Came out to sort of minimal fanfare. It's when he'd moved to a much smaller label, and you can hear that the production is definitely scaled down. It's quite cheap sounding in places. But what I do like about this album is it's although there's not a lot of melody, which is a factor, as Jeff has already said, like across a lot of Brian's work. It's really kind of post-punk influence. It's really driving. Obviously, Geordie was back in the band. This is the second kind of reunion album of that songwriting partnership, I think. Yeah. And there's some real driving bass and stuff, which is like a hallmark of post-punk. It's cool. I actually quite like the minimal production in places. It really is just Brian and Geordie in the studio. If you take out Disengaged, we've kind of moved on from the whole, like a lot of the breakup stuff that's kind of all over this era. It's a little bit less kind of up its own arse and a little bit less like Cry for Me. A bit more balls, man. A little bit more kind of vocally and musically. Like Murders Are Getting Pretty Every Day. That's a nice heavy track. That's pretty cool. Obviously, he literally quotes Macbeth points. My favorite track by quite some way is Flowers of Evil. That chorus is great. I've been running from the bloodless for fear of exile, for all of these sorceries. It's great. That bass line is so good as well. It's bouncy, it's driving. The kind of like descending guitars, like blim 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 blim. I love it. Honestly, it came back on, and I hadn't heard this album since probably it came out, and I was just like, boom! It clicked in my brain. I was like, I remember this song. I remember this is a banger. It's playlisted again. Like I actually think it is a great song. I like the title track as well. There's some interesting stuff going on. It's not trying to be anything. Even the cover, it's just his face. It's just a latter-day Marilyn Manson album. With a good songwriter on board in Geordie. It's cool. It just is. I like that. I like he's not trying to be anything on this record, and that's probably why it's higher up on my list. So there it is, Born Villain.
Born Villain.
Every one of his stupid
All right.
fucking albums has just his face on it.
That is true.
God, I've seen this. I've seen his
When you-
fucking
when you
face
put it
every
like that.
single
Except the
time.
first record.
Yeah. Way to cancel my point, Jeff. Ah.
Tired of looking at this guy.
Shit. All right. So my number 7 is also Born Villain from 2012. Like you said, this is the last one to feature Twiggy or Geordie writing on the record. And Chris Verena, the drummer, also wrote a lot of stuff. Fred Sablon, the bass player at the time in Manson, he actually has a songwriting credit on one song. I think it's Slow Motion, if I'm not mistaken. And at this time, Twiggy was playing guitar in the band. He wasn't the bass player. Fred was the bass player. And but yeah, like you guys said, or like you said, Skip, like this album, there's not a lot here. I mean, I don't really have the same nostalgia because I never really was into Manson. But yeah, this one just it really fell flat because I really liked the high end of Low. But yeah, Born Villain I don't know what happened between the two records, honestly. Like songwriting wise, I don't know what happened because I like Twiggy's writing a lot, and this is like a huge dud for him. Huge dud, which is really unfortunate. But other than that, yeah, I got no banger. Nothing really stood out at all to me on this one. So that's all I got for number 7.
Wow.
Is Born Villain.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow, that is a terrible track. Wow. Ugh.
Wow.
Yeah, it's an awful track.
Is that really a track off of this?
No, I think it's high and low, isn't it? Wow. But it's
Is
just
it? I
bad.
don't remember.
It's God, it wants to be a Nine Inch Nails song.
Well, it makes sense. Well, Nine Inch
Oh
Nails
yeah,
like
I mean
that.
Geordie's just he's everywhere.
Yeah, that's true. He had
Apart
just
from
left Nine Inch
Metallica.
Nails too. At that point.
Yeah, because he didn't make it to Metallica, did he?
No. It's
No.
so weird watching him play with the guys from Metallica too.
I know.
Super fucking weird. But
He just spent like a year not getting into bands. Anyway,
all right. So then, what do you got for number 6, Jeff? Go.
Born Villain. Yeah. Born
that's
Villain. Just come full circle here. I guess we'll just get over this album and move forward. But the best parts of this came from what I guess now is chalk up to a smaller label and less big production because of the nuance, like the little nuances in this, like the guitar noises from the finger slides on Pistol Whip, and a lot of like his breathing that's caught on the mic in between words and in between speaking. I thought all that stuff was really cool. And it sort of is like a sloppy, chaotic record that just, again, like hides behind a lot of the same kind of driving electronic 4/4 beat, which is fine because, it makes for like a cool, heavy, catchy record. I get it. It's cool. I get it. I dig it. But this was when I really realized that Manson's vocals is pedestrian completely. That's it. Nothing exciting. But Hey Cruel World, the opening track, this one started off really cool. It had that droning kind of helicopter effect with like subtle guitar bends and noises. It was fun. I thought like, damn, this is going to be a really weird kind of out there record. But it never recuperates from those high expectations that I had. So it's okay.
Mm-hmm. All right, Skip, what do you got for number 6?
cool. I mean, just before I say that, I want to mention that I'm surprised Jeff hasn't mentioned this because he's a big fan of the Chicka Chicka. And like, I even though he's had like a variety of guitarists, like there's the Manson Chicka, which is more like a Chicka Chicka, and it's like across every album there's a Chicka Chicka moment, and I'm just surprised as a Chicka Chicka connoisseur that Jeff hasn't mentioned.
It's coming
the
because
Brian Chicka Chicka.
The best Chicka Chickas I'm saving for the top. I leave for sure the
That's
top
okay.
two or
Okay.
top
So
three.
I foreshadowed the holy Chicka Chicka.
Because
Cool.
there is a semi-iconic Chicka that is kind of used throughout, and even the Chicka itself kind of progresses into a different sound depending on what boring era Manson is in at the time.
It's true. Yeah, I mean it's more of a chicka chick, isn't it? It's
Yeah.
Chicka Chicka. It's a twist on the chick.
It's a little weird. It's a little bizarre. No, I
But it's there.
noticed, baby. I noticed.
The patented Manson Chicka Chicka. I was just checking. I'd have been disappointed had we never brought this up. So number 6. Drum roll, please. It is the high end of Low.
Okay. All right.
So I I have mixed emotions on this record. The filler is fucking terrible, right? the filler on this album is bad, and if it wasn't there, we'd have a nice 35-minute, really strong kind of latter era Marilyn Manson record. This was the last time I saw him live. This tour, 2009, in a much smaller venue. His voice is way better on this record than it was on Eat Me, Drink Me, which is the immediate, record that preceded. It's Twiggy's returning record. Despite what Jeff says, I'm a goddamn motherfucking Geddon is a great single. It's stupid, it's glammy in the same way as tracks like Beautiful People, Disposable Teens, Rock is Dead. He's rewritten the same song 5, 6, 7, 10 times, but when it's a good song like that, it's fine. It's stupid. It's definitely tongue-in-cheek. It kind of references his past, Columbine, making hits. I'm taking credits for the death toll. That's him going, I know I'm past it. I don't give a shit. And fuck it, I'm going to be remembered for what you want to remember me for. Fuck it. I thought that was cool. I thought it'd been long enough since the incident as well to maybe, it's not a joking matter at all, but the reference, that's what I picked up on it. I Want to Kill You Like They Do in the movies. Problematic, again, considering current what's going on. But, it's the longest thing he's ever done. It's nearly 10 minutes. It's kind of experimental. It's got a really cool bass line. Really interesting vocal. And just some of the lyrics across this album, batshit. It's not rain, you rapist werewolves. It's just God pissing down on you. What? That's one of my favorite stupid lyrics ever, Into the Fire, Manson doing a piano ballad. I actually think a lot of his mid-tempo stuff is some of his best stuff, and it actually works. Twiggy gets to do his blues guitar solo thing. He's a big fan of bands like Oasis. He's said
that's his favorite band.
Yeah, and obviously he's hung out with the Desert Sessions and stuff, so he does love that kind of blues. And Oasis are terrible. I'm an Englishman. I'm constantly.
Doesn't everybody in England love Oasis? Isn't that like your Red Hot Chili Peppers or something?
Yeah, they are. That is a beautiful analogy. They are the Red Hot Chili Peppers of England. Yeah, but it works. Into the Fire is a great track, I think. My biggest banger, because I do think there's several bangers on this album, is I Have to Look Up Just to See Hell, which is almost a title track, It's got such a good groove. That lurch, which I'll go into on the main episode, there's a Manson lurch, a bit like the Manson Chicka Chicka, that's there, and it drives it. It's got that really cool, the falling part. I think that's great. The lyrics are kind of pissed off and angry, but they're also some really cool imagery going on. He's quite wordy in his verses and then kind of sloganeering in his choruses. That's always been a Manson thing. I just think it's a killer song. I think the vocal performance is great. It's nice to hear his voice in some better form. It's a really up and down album, but the bangers outweigh the filler, but the filler is fucking terrible. You could cut Wow, White Spider, Blank and White. Yeah, you could cut all of that, and then sure, and finish on Into the Fire. I don't know why 15's on there. Finish with the blues solo, end. Great, cinematic, man, cinematic.
Did you say you like running to the edge?
No, that can go as well.
Okay. Because that was one of the worst.
It just goes on and on, doesn't it? It feels longer than I Want to Kill You Like They Do in the movies.
God, it was rough.
Oof. But yeah, high end of low. There it is, number 6.
My number 6 is Mechanical Animals. Mechanical Animals, his third record from 1998. This one really surprised me. When I did my listen through, I got through Portrait and then Antichrist and then this, and I thought we can't do this record. I for one thought, okay, this is okay, and I knew instantly that you would hate it, Jeff. Like, absolutely would fucking hate it. And I even text you. I said, we probably shouldn't do this. We should do Antichrist. And you're like, well, whatever you want to do. And then I was on the fence because we had already committed to it with you, Skip. But then, yeah, we eventually decided to go with Antichrist.
I think it's because I eventually listened to it finally, and then it was just like, no, not going to happen. Can't do it.
Yeah, I got like 4 songs in, and I'm like, Jeff is he's not going to like this. So, but I didn't think that it would be at the bottom. Like, I did not think this was going to be your least favorite. That's fucking
favorite,
crazy.
Baby.
That's straight up silly boy talk.
Hot take, homie.
And I can't believe some of these records you haven't even talked about yet, which is even stupider. God damn. But Mechanical Animals, it was it really dove into the glam rock stuff, which I'm not super into. I mean, you touched upon it, Skip, with David, a lot of David Bowie influence stuff, and I'm not super familiar with David Bowie music. I mean, I know some of his bigger hits, but outside of that, I mean, I know nothing. I know nothing about his music. I never really dove into his stuff because there's just so much of it, and I don't know where to start. But
yeah, that's fair. There's a lot.
Yeah, if David Bowie sounds a lot like this, like, or in the kind of the same vein as this, I don't know how much I'm gonna actually like it. I thought this record was just kind of boring. It has a lot of good sounds in it, and I mean, Michael Beinhorn produced this one. He's produced like a lot of huge fucking bands. He did a Korn record, Jeff's least favorite Korn record too. He produced that one.
Serenity?
Which, I guess that makes sense. What?
Serenity of Suffering?
No, he produced Untouchables.
Oh yeah,
he did. Yeah,
which is like a very unique
Korn
recording in itself where no other record has ever been recorded like Untouchables. So Michael Beinhorn is this very kind of unique guy, but I feel like there's nothing here on Mechanical Animals outside of like Rock is Dead is a good song because it's like heavier. It kind of gets you pumped up and going. And other than that, I don't even like the Dope Show. I never really liked the Dope Show that much. And
yes, you do.
I really don't. I really don't like
lying.
that song. I've never really dug it.
everyone loves the Dope Show.
Everybody loves the Dope Show.
Yeah. Edgelord Tyler over here. Oh, it's popular. I don't like it.
I'm telling you, all the fucking time with this kid. Never ends.
Oh my god! Don't get after me. Jeff put this at the very bottom of. This
don't worry. There's going to be plenty of words. It's fine.
But I did say I like the Dope Show, though. If you're listening,
okay,
like
well,
the
that's
Dope
wrong.
Show.
That's stupid. That's stupid. That's silly boy talk.
You guys are so high.
Otherwise, I mean, overall, this album has some cool moments, but it really just falls flat with the glam stuff that I just don't really care for. So, yeah, that's all I got on this one. Mechanical Animals. My banger on this one is Rock is Dead. So, what do you got, Jeff, for number 5? Go.
Number 5, The Golden Age of Grotesque. This is the last of my ones I don't really care about. The 5th album. This reminded me so much of that like mindless self-indulgent sound. And it wasn't bad. I enjoyed this. I enjoyed kind of like a lot of the heavy beat-driven songs, electronic stuffs. It was fun, sometimes super catchy. I like the track Saint or Ain't with the S thing, however you say that silly wording. But I don't know. I don't care anymore. I just want to get to my top 4 here, so I'm going to move on. I'm tired of bad-mouthing Manson.
All right, what do you got for number 5, Skip? Go.
Cool, number 5. Smells Like Children, finally. So
finally.
this is super nostalgic for me. Super nostalgic. Because I had this on CD back in the day. So, like, you know, when I only had, like, 7 or 8 CDs, like, most of them were Marilyn Manson, which we'll get into. So, like, I hadn't listened to this probably in about 15 years. Like, I probably listened to it, like, till the CD kind of, like, you know, scratched itself to death when I was 15, and then never again. So it was super nostalgic. It was super fun. It's really silly. I mean, I really like Dope Hat as a song. So, and I really like the kind of super slowed down version that's on here. The remixes are very, very 90s. Like, they all sound super, super 90s. The kind of, I mean, the whole thing is very 90s. You know, it's using, like, you know, the recordings and stuff and the phone calls and the stupid bits and bobs and all, you know, it's almost like a hip-hop record in that. It's got, like, skits
crazy
and shit, you know.
How many bands, like, were doing that kind of shit in the 90s? Like,
yeah.
were doing
Yeah.
skits or doing like little interludes or shit from movies, and like that was a very 90s thing from all bands or artists across all genres.
Well, that's it. And this is like the last kind of spooky kids record. You know, it's the last kind of moment they were like a horror punk band, which I'll talk more about when I get to Portrait. But you know, Rock and Roll Ninja. It's a great cover. And actually, you know, there's a thing where he like, if Manson has an idea, he's not afraid to repeat it and go at it again and retry it. You know, and that starts with and the world spreads its legs for another fucking star, which becomes a lyric, you know, an album down the line. But my BB, it's the Screaming Jay Hawkins cover, man. I Put a Spell on You. Like,
that's a good one.
It's just so like brutal, like really heavy on the bass, like really simple, really, really great kind of batshit vocal take. You know, he's going at it like he is close to the mic, it is turned up, it's blasted out. I really worked to the concept of the song. You know, Scott on guitars having a great time. You know, I've always loved that cover. Obviously, the record company supposedly were like, "That's the single," and I went, "No, do Sweet Dreams," which has been overplayed. A, on the radio, and B, by the band. Like, it's always in the set list. And like the best thing about it is just a really weird use of wah. You know, the constant rock there, wah 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 wah. You know, which is an odd, innovative use of a wah pedal. Because yeah, like Scott wasn't a great guitar player, but he was interesting. So yeah, it's a lot of nostalgia in there for me, which is why it is so high. But I also had a shit ton of fun, and it's genuinely unsettling in places to listen to. You know, that's when they were a sample-heavy band where Pogo was doing a lot more with the band and actually, you know, kind of manipulating sounds and stuff. And yeah, it's a real headphone record. You know, if you don't listen to it with headphones, same with Portrait, like go and listen and you hear so much more going on. So there it is. Smells Like Children.
Awesome. So my number 5 from here is where we get into our 2 out of 3. You know, this is a good record. Going to continue to listen to, and I would even get this on vinyl if it was at a decent price, which most of his vinyl is not at a decent price. And my number 5 is The High End of Low, his 7th record from 2009. I know Jeff fucking hated this one, and it was a little indifferent, but that's okay. We could all be wrong sometimes. This is I understand there are some filler parts here and there, but it's still not bad. Like it still sounds good, and it still kind of connects everything together. I don't see the hate with this one. I think it's a pretty solid record. And you know what, Jeff? I mean, the best song on this is Arm a Goddamn Motherfucking
You're so
like,
stupid.
Without a doubt, that is the best song on here.
Did you fall down before you came here?
Dude, it has some really super catchy parts. There's some absolutely great interplay with the bass and the guitar. And just overall, that bass line is so fucking killer. This song is awesome. This song is really wrong. Fucking good.
He's not wrong.
Playlistable song.
He is wrong.
I instantly playlisted this song.
He is wrong. Yes.
Sick. This song is sick. This album is really good. I really dug it. I was very, very surprised. I was very apprehensive because after Eat Me, Drink Me, and what was the other? There was another one, right?
No,
between Grotesque and this, right?
No, it was Golden Age.
It was just Eat Me, Drink Me. Okay,
yeah.
Because
but it was
Eat Me, Drink Me.
It
was just a long time period between those records. But yeah, Eat Me, Drink Me. I was so kind of bummed out by that one. It was just kind of just straight up boring. But then once I got into this, I was really stoked again. And then it falls off so quickly with Born Villain. After this, it's like, wow, Twiggy, like you did so well on this record. What happened after? But whatever. The High End of Low, it's a solid fucking record. I don't care what you say, Jeff, but whatever. It's great.
Okay.
And I think even Skip touched upon it too. Lyrically on this one, a lot of it was about the breakup with Evan Rachel Wood, and this even has that gnarly music video with a lookalike of her in the video, and it's fucking crazy shit, man. And I think that really drove the kind of aggressiveness, the craziness of this record. And yeah, this is kind of one of his crazier records, which is not saying a lot because he's not that crazy of a guy, but musically at least.
He just tries so fucking hard.
He does. I agree with you.
He's like the Andy Dick or Tom Green of music. He just like why do you try so fucking hard? Like, you don't need to
amazing.
do that.
That's really good. That's a good
God.
comparison.
Yeah, the Andy Dick of rock and roll. Brian, can you come shock some people, please? Oh God.
Andy Dick, like, dude, just relax. Put the coke down.
You know, Andy
relax.
Dick was in Star Trek. That blew my mind the other day. I was watching Star Trek, and there was Andy Dick. I was like, "What the fuck?"
What?
On Star Trek?
In one of the movies?
No,
Or
no,
the TV show?
he's in one of the TV shows, Star Trek Voyager. He plays a hologram,
What?
a hologram doctor. Yep, a young Andy Dick.
Wow.
I know. Blew my
Holy
mind.
shit.
Blew
I
my
would have
mind.
never. I can't imagine that. That's bizarre.
Yeah, I mean, he's toned down, but he's still Andy Dick. You know, he's still kind of annoying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it was pre-coke addiction, Andy Dick, probably.
But anyway, yeah, that's my number 5, the high end of low. So what do you got for number 4, Jeff? We're almost done. We're almost done with the rankings.
Here's the only
So what
four
do
I
you got?
care about. These are the only ones I wanted to talk about, and Mechanical Animals, because I know both you little cucks fucking love that album because you're both stupid idiots. But number 4, We Are Chaos. We Are Chaos.
What?
Finally,
Why,
this
though?
is the only
Why?
time in his entire discography where he wrote pop songs and didn't try to mask them as like heavy industrial rock songs. He wrote pop songs and presented them as pop songs. He embraced the pop because Manson tries to write pop songs a lot, and he's been doing it album after album after album. But he hides it. He tries to hide it in his little fucking tower of coolness that he puts on and makes people think that he's weird. No, you're a pop artist. What he is. He plays no instruments. He just sits up there and sings. He's a pop artist. And this is the first time that he embraced the pop sound. And it was, I mean, set aside that it was a manageable 40 minutes long with kind of no filler. Some really good melodies here and some really heavy instrumentals. I thought this was a fantastic album. I loved it. It opens up with a cool spoken word part. Like, come on. That's amazing. That was awesome. I loved it. My favorite track is Infinite Darkness, which I guess is the title of the painting, too, that was painted for the cover art of the album.
The cover of his face, yeah.
Which, again, we've never seen his face, right? Because that's all he fucking does. But
He's on brand, bro. He's on brand.
yeah, I really did like this a lot. I liked this a lot, and I thought it was this may be like one of the most different things he's ever done. Because again, he writes pop songs, but he's not very good at it, and so he masks it with this kind of niche that he's created, which is cool because he creates like his own universe essentially. But this is the first time that he wrote pop songs and presented them as pop songs. And I liked it.
I don't agree with it, but it's
And
fair.
I would buy this on the
Major
vinyls.
case. Really?
Yeah.
Is it actually cheap considering it's like a new record?
Yeah. So like you can buy new copies of this for like $20-$25.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Are you gonna buy it online or are you just gonna wait till you probably see it in the wild?
It's probably at Grace Records. Grace Records has a lot of new stuff. And next time I go, I'm going to seek out the Manson section. If there is a Manson section, which is probably not because all of his other records are so goddamn expensive.
But there's a lot of bootlegs. That's the thing too. Like most of his early records are all bootlegged.
Yeah.
That's
But
true.
even then, they're like $60, $70. So I don't know how much they are in England, but yeah, they're fucking expensive here.
Yeah.
So-
I think I paid like 30 for Mechanical Animals.
You
I know Jeff's
it-
like, that's $30 too much, says Jeff.
got
Yeah.
ripped off, man. You got ripped off, son.
It's a cool variant, man. Like it's yeah. I'll talk about it when I get to it. You know.
They should have paid. All right. They should have paid you $30 to take it off their hands. That's what it should have been.
Oh. You didn't even finish it, bro. Fucking hell.
That's true.
That's true. Yeah, you didn't even finish it. That's not fair. You cheated.
You listened
Okay.
to Poison, but you didn't listen to Mechanical Animals. Unbelievable.
Poison was 4 records. This was like 36 records. It took.
Yeah, but this is like this
took
is only
a
the
week.
third record. So you weren't, you can't even burn out already.
Poison took a
Jesus.
day.
I mean,
like this one took a week.
Oh, yeah, to be fair, that was a lot.
He got you there. He got you. No, but Jeff, you had 3 weeks to do Manson, and you couldn't go back and listen to Mechanical Animals.
No.
But you could listen to 5 Poison records. He got you with the Poison thing.
When
That's
you go,
gonna- that's
when you
gonna
go
be
out
your
to
downfall.
eat and you order food and it tastes like shit, do you just keep eating it, or are you like, no, you know what, I don't like this. I'm gonna move on and order something else. Are you a fucking monster? Are you psychotic? Who would do that? No, you stop what you're doing. It's not enjoyable, and you move forward.
Well, it's true. It's true. But you also listen to 5 Poison records. As did I. I did it too, so I'm also at fault.
Oh, but you finished Mechanical Animals. You know?
I did. I did.
I hope
have nothing to
Mechanical
stand on.
Animals is not your number one. There's just no way.
All right, so what's your number 4, Skip?
Portrait of an American Family. His debut record. So the only one with that lineup, with Bradley Mark Stewart, aka Gidget Gein on bass, or Geen, however you want to pronounce it. I don't know, I'm not American. And Daisy Berkowitz, aka Scott on guitar. Both of whom have sadly passed away. Bradley in 2008 from a heroin overdose, I believe, and Scott Pitesky in 2017, sadly. I had a friend who was actually friends with Scott, which is pretty cool. Yeah, and he was completely estranged from Brian and stuff. Like, there was no effort to stay in touch. So it's just fair. Bands.
I think he even sued him, right, in the early 2010s.
Yeah, it was pretty acrimonious
for some of the. Yeah, it was. I remember the lawsuit. I think there was a lawsuit.
Yeah. But this is a cool album. It's the only sort of horror punk, and it's interesting you haven't mentioned it yet, Tyler, because obviously you love bands like Wednesday, Frankenstein Drag Queens, and this is the only one of these records that really fits in that sort of vein. I think it's cool, man. Like, Scott, he's not an amazing guitarist, but he's got a really, really interesting way of playing guitar. Like, it's not traditional. It's kind of horror punk. It's silly. He's like making some cool noises and stuff like that. I say before with the wah pedal on Smells Like Children and stuff. And even like fans, like hardcore odd fans, say like no one could play Lunchbox right the way Scott plays it. Like John 5 used to play it too fast, and things like that. And this is a really like fucked up album in terms of like there's just so much going on. There's so much use of sample. It opens with that real creepy Willy Wonka. But there's no knowing where we're going. And he started as a poet, Brian. He's not a good singer at all, but he does have an interesting voice, that drawl. He's a performer, and I'll talk more about this when we get to our album of the week, because he performs all over that. He takes a very theatrical approach to his the way he performs. I don't want to say sings really. Because like he can't sing straight up. He's a terrible singer, but he's a great vocalist. And they're two very different things. A lot of these songs written by Bradley and Brian. And it's interesting actually, like how much Twiggy kind of writes similar. Again, it's all these driving bass lines, Wrapped in Plastic. That's got a great groove. Dope Hat, so fun, so silly, pure horror punk. There's theremin, there's a little do noises and stuff. It's just great. It's stupid. The video is really cheap and really silly and really 90s. And if you guys haven't watched it, I strongly recommend seeking it out, because it's just Willy Wonka gone mental. I think it's a great, unique album in his canon. Like, it's definitely a headphone record. There's so much going on. It's a little on the nose in places. And I just love how offensive it is, man. Like, it opens with Cake and Sodomy as a first proper track. It uses, like, the C-bomb twice in that song. And this is 1994 in America. Like, I won't say the C-bomb on your podcast because I know how offensive it is in America. In Scotland...
Oh, you could say it.
Oh, sweet cunt. I love the
I
fact
thought English people say it all the time.
That sample.
I thought that was like...
Put on a smile, you cunt, and it just goes straight into the riff. It's great. And then like cunt fucker just yelled in the middle. It's so stupid, man. Like, it's so offensive.
My girlfriend uses that word all the time. Like she.
We use it as punctuation in England. And especially Scotland.
Oh, my girlfriend just does it when she's pissed.
Yes.
Yeah. But like some people, like it's still an offensive word to some people. But I know I'd forgotten just quite how many expletives are on this record. Like it's like every other word is a fuck or something. And it's just stupid and silly, and it's his most fun album. It's so fun. And my favorite track is Lunchbox. It's got that great sample at the start. It's got such a killer bass groove as well. It's one of the first things I learned to play on bass. And I still love ripping that groove to this day. It's great. The guitars are really crunchy and cool. It's that pow pow pow. Oh, it's great. And like the live version, like where he breaks it right down, it's just stupid and fun. And like it's just a tight groove. It's a one-off record because it's a one-off lineup. Where it all started. Portrait of an American Family.
All right, so number 4 for me is also Portrait of an American Family. You and I, Skip, are just like we're pretty damn similar for the most part.
We're not morons.
There's only one album that you guys haven't gushed over at the same time, and that's Mechanical Animals. That's it.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, no, that's true. That's true.
Everything else, you both are just fucking 69ing each other the entire time.
But that's not true because most of his albums are crap. Or not very good.
Yeah.
But Portrait of an American Family is this is a really good one. I was very surprised at how just kind of raw sounding it sounds in like from a production standpoint. Like it's really kind of like it's a rough record. It's a really rough record, and I liked it. I liked the amount of samples. It did remind me a lot of like Frankenstein Drag Queens because they use a lot of the samples from like obscure movies and just like little things here and there. I mean, they're a little bit more straightforward punk, but there's a lot of similarities between the two, and it makes sense. I mean, I assume Wednesday got a lot of inspiration from Manson, especially in the early days. I mean, because people trying to shock other people. I mean, Manson was like the go-to. He was like the god of that. I don't know. I think this is a solid record. I mean, I love the soundscapes. I love just how unique it sounds, and it's just crazy how like you mentioned, you touched upon it too. But Twiggy kind of plays in the same style, but he made it so much better. The way he writes is just it's just so much more mature. I mature is like the only word I could think of because it's not like saying that these guys are bad. This lineup's bad because it's not at all. It's just Twiggy just took it to that next level that I feel like these guys could not have done. So it was Twiggy and Trent too on some of the songs, but mostly Twiggy.
He's the highlight of that band.
Yeah, no, honestly, yeah. I totally agree with you on that. But yeah, no, Portrait of an American Family. My favorite song is Dogma. This is just kind of one of the faster songs, some killer fucking bass lines, some good guitar chugging. I love some good guitar chugs, just like Jeff likes the chicka chickas. I like the chugs. So
chugs and chickas.
Chugs and chickas, baby.
That sounds like some kind of like music theme fast food. Hey, come to Chugs and Chickers. We got it all. Want some chicka fries? Some chuggy burgers? Yeah.
Man, I fucking love a good guitar chugging.
I would love to hear a song that is just all chugs and chickas. Like that would be so
chugs and
cool.
chickers.
We gotta fucking write a song and just call it Chugs and Chickas. Chickas and Chugs.
Chickers and chugs.
Chickas
it's
and
like
chugs.
fingers and thumbs. I'm all chickers and chugs today, guys.
Chickers and chugs.
Oh, it's so dumb. Okay. and just, I mean, the song too, just has, like I said, the killer sound effects, the cool soundscapes that I think is kind of underwritten. Like a lot of people don't talk about the soundscapes in Manson's music, especially in the 90s and early 2000s. Like there's some really cool stuff that really just kind of expand and fill in the gaps where you didn't think you needed the gaps to be filled in at, but they do. And it just adds a cool atmosphere and vibe to certain songs. And that's the case with this one. So that's my number 4, Portrait of an American Family. So what do you got, Jeff, for your number 3? Go.
So We Are Chaos was my 4. I would put that at like a 2, like a solid 2. Now we're at like 2.5. We're already like boosting way up to the 2.5s. And then that's as far as I'll go because I don't want to give too much away here. But Smells Like Children. It's an EP that you both apparently thought was not good in comparison to his other boring music, which is fine. Again,
I ranked it 1 below you.
That's well, it's not your top 3. This is my top 3 here. You know, it made it to the final 4, which is fine, but not your top 3. Yeah, this is an EP, but it's like almost an hour long. Okay, relax. But it was really good. And so like looking up these early albums online, I recognized like every single one of these album covers up until like the 6th one. And I was like, holy shit. Like I remember, like I know exactly what this looks like. And this was the first one because Portrait of an American Family I didn't really recognize, but this was the first one I was like, holy fuck. Like I totally forgot about this album. And then hearing that Sweet Dreams cover again That's a good cover. That is so much better than Eurythmics did it, which is it was fine when they did it, but it's so much better. And I mean, like I'm with Skip, dude. Like I love like I Put a Spell on You. It is a monstrosity of a cover. It is a butchering of a song that is so beloved by so many bands and so many people, but it's like, that's what you want. That is exactly what you want. He still keeps the feeling, but adds his own unique sound to it. And it's so different and it's so fucking weird. And the more times you listen to it, the weirder it gets, with pacing, with little nuances to it. And I try to search if like Screaming Jay Hawkins and anybody in his state or whatever, anybody had ever said that, I don't know, anybody related to them said that he liked the song, or if anything, if anybody ever said that it was a good cover or whatever. I didn't find anything of that, but I think he would have really liked this because he was a weird guy. You know, it's
very weird.
And I think, I don't know, I thought it was a fucking perfect cover, and it was so goddamn good. But I never saw anything that he listened to the song and said it was really good. And I think it came out like right as he died too. So I don't know, maybe he died before.
Right, yeah.
Maybe like it was the last thing that he heard on his deathbed, because I think he died like a couple years after, in like the early 2000s. So maybe it was like the last song he ever heard. But no, it was this was a fantastic EP. It was so damn good. It was very weird. I don't know. The other songs here were heavier and more traditional songs and like structured and sounding, but they're just kind of like heavy metal oriented. And I liked it. It was good. And I get it. Like, I get why it's an EP, because it's very disjointed. It's very broken. The songs don't flow with each other very well as a whole. It's just like a compilation album, but obviously it's an EP. But I don't know. I liked it a lot. And also Rock and Roll Ninja, like, this was a banger of a punk song for them. And I never listened to Patti Smith before we started collecting the vinyls. And I got her album Easter very early on. And I listened to it, and I put it off for a long time just because the cover is really boring looking. It's just stupid and whatever. I don't care. But then I listened to it, and I brought it to the pod like very, very early on. And it's a fucking fantastic album. It is so goddamn good. It's unreal how good it is. And again, dropping like the N-bomb like that, like she did, like he did, it's ballsy and tactful. And that's weird. That's a weird thing to say, because it really is ballsy and tactful. And I love it. And I love Smells Like Children so much. It was fantastic.
I thought for sure you'd hate this EP. I really thought you'd hate this one.
Oh.
All right, what do you got for number 3, Skip? Go.
Cool. So, honorable mention. This is where I put the live album. Just very quickly. You guys check it out at some point. Maybe give it a while. There is a lot of Mechanical Animals stuff on there, but like with the Antichrist stuff and the Portrait stuff, like you can hear how it flows as a body of work altogether better, because like you've got a killer lineup. It's Twiggy and John 5 as well. I just want to quickly mention, I Don't Like the Drugs, but the Drugs Like Me are on that version. It's got some gospel singers. It's great. It's really fun. But man, you can totally hear that it is basically, it's just Fame by David Bowie. Like musically, 100%. It's just basically a fucking cover. But there's some really cool wah guitar. And just the idea of gospel singers singing I Don't Like the Drugs, but the Drugs Like Me. It's great. So yeah, quickly mentioned. But yes, number 3 is Hollywood, In the Shadow of the Valley of Death.
Oh, finally.
Fucking great album. It's too long.
1, 2, 3 is just long. Those albums.
What, the triptych? Yeah.
Fucking great.
Who'd have thought it, eh? Who'd have thought that, his most cohesive work would be my top 3. So yeah, I mean, this was his post-Columbine record. I could talk for hours about this record, but I won't. It's his most meticulous. Like, everything about this record was so thought out and so like pumped up. Like, the production is really, really crisp. They left Soundscapes running for days to get seconds worth of parts. Pogo was much more involved than he usually is, playing with synths and stuff. It's a reaction to Columbine, pretty much. The Nobodies, especially, pretty on the nose. We're dead, but they know just who we are. You know, this was a really odd period for him. You know, he sort of 1998, 99. He's like the biggest rock star in the world, especially in America. He's successfully pissed off all of Middle America's parents. You know, he's done that thing. You know, just like just what he's rock and roll. He's rock and roll. And then Columbine happened. You know, and it obviously, you know, he cancelled his tour. He went away for a year or so, really, and he just doubled down and wrote. You know, and it's the first studio album with John 5 as well, actually playing on it. It's fucking long. You know, it's 20 tracks. There's a lot. He actually called it his White Album, which is hilarious because you guys are completely wrong and hate that record for some reason.
I hate that album.
That album's
Yeah,
not
you
good.
do. I don't agree with what he's saying now. I get it. There is like he covers a lot of ground, but it's very cohesive, man. Like, and it's as a concept body of work, because I'm sure we'll get into the triptych, but the idea of, you know, was it Hollywood kind of actually goes across the entire story of Antichrist and Mechanical Animals, and is more like, and also then what happens after as well. It's a whole end of the world bullshit. It's just really, there's some great moments. I could talk about it for hours, but I won't, because it's not our pick of the week and we're already like 2 hours in. So I'm going to go with my banger, BB. A lot of B's on this album for me, but it's the Death Song.
That's a good one.
It's
That is a good
so good.
Yeah.
It's so intense. It's really driving. There's that thing that he does a lot where when he brings live drums in, it's kind of like, it's when the song really kind of jumps off. You know, it's usually like a couple of like a rat-tat-tat snare hit and it just goes in. Oh man, his vocals in this song are so good. Like the bit at the end where like it's kind of a trick that Trent Reznor does a lot, and it's where like he brings in like the synth, that kind of like bit underneath, and the guitars are really raging, and he gets right up to the mic and he's just screaming. And I know, Jeff, you say, oh no, he can't, but nah, man, like before he fucked his voice, like 90s Manson, like had a fucking scream on him, man. And like he's just like, yeah, you know, the whole vibe just picks up with that little synth coming in, and it just makes it like that last like 30-second coda chorus. That is some tasty Marilyn Manson right there. Yeah, man, Hollywood, In the Shadow of the Valley of Death. It's a fucking great record. It's easily 2.5,
Solid.
if not stronger. Yeah. Massively difficult or impossible to get on the vinyls, and just to get
Yeah,
the
it's fucking
artwork and
expensive.
stuff, man, the artwork is incredible. Once again, he talks up more than he delivers. You know, we were promised a book, a movie. None of that shit ever happened. It never does. But yeah, as a comeback from like a absolute tragedy and a fuck you to the people who just like scapegoated him and played the blame game, and as a way to really, really double down on pissing the parents off. Mwah! Beautiful.
It is. It's great. Jeff's so pissed right now.
Oh, I know.
No, I'm not mad. I just think I think that you guys have fallen down and have a concussion possibly.
I thought he just walked out. I thought he just hung up. He's like, fuck it, I'm out.
It's just disconnect.
Yeah. It's your pod, baby. You
Don't
do
even
what you
say a
want.
word.
It's Tyler's pod, but that's fine.
Boy. All right, so my number 3 is The Golden Age of Grotesque, his 5th record from 2003. This album does have my favorite Marilyn Manson song of all time on it, and that is "This Is the New Shit." There's just something so childish and so basic about it, and I love it so much. It's so much fun to sing, and I have a lot of nostalgia with this song too. This song was introduced to me by my girlfriend when we first started dating, and she got into this song because of our friend of the pod, Justin, and he's a huge Manson guy, or he was. I think he is anymore, but yeah, this is like kind of like, this song has so much nostalgia for me, and fuck, I've listened to this so many times. I love that song, and this song's really good. It sucks that they don't utilize John 5 a lot on this album, like you said, because dude, the guy is an amazing guitar player. But this is also the first album with Tim Skold from KMFDM on it, who replaced Twiggy, and it's a very much more straightforward record. It's not a concept record, and I like that it's not as crazy sounding with the soundscapes. It's just more of a rock record, and it was kind of nice hearing this after hearing just like the craziness of the first four, because they're all four of those records are very different from one another, but they're not straightforward like this one is, and I think that's why I put this one so high, because it was so refreshing, and I really dug this one, and the imagery was very fascinating, like you were talking about with the 1920s Germany, more specifically Berlin, and this album was also, you know, influenced by his girlfriend at the time, Dita Von Teese, or were they married? I don't remember, but
I think they were
their
dating.
relationship. Yeah, was it that? Okay, yeah, it was something like that.
Yeah, because she's in the Mob Scene video, isn't she?
Yeah, you're right. She was. Yeah,
doing
she
the
was
martini glass thing. Oh, she was such a babe. Such a babe.
Yeah, she was beautiful. She was. She really was.
She still is. Love Dita. Love Dita.
I haven't seen a picture of her in a long time, but
I've heard someone call somebody a
beautiful.
babe.
She
in
just
a
finished
very
doing
long
a
time.
tour. My friends went to see her. She did a tour. She's played Birmingham like last week. Yeah.
What?
Yeah. She still tours. Yeah.
Wow.
I
Just
don't
like a
think
burlesque show?
I think, and it's more like talking and stuff now, because she's not as young as she
A little
used to
bit
be. You know, but she's just a fascinating human. You know, I think she's
Okay.
cool. She's cool.
Damn, why didn't you go? She was
I
just
didn't
there.
know.
She was
I
next
know.
to
I
your
found out
house.
afterwards. My mate was like, "Oh, we went to see Dia," and I was like, what?" So yeah, you snooze, you lose, buddy.
Yeah, I mean, she'll come back around, I'm sure. So,
Oh, whatever. It's fine.
but yeah, the golden age of grotesque. This is a solid record. Totally get it on vinyl, and I've definitely playlisted a few other songs outside of This Is the New Shit, which is, like I said, his best fucking song, like without a doubt. It's so stupid good. I love it. So
It is stupid.
that's my number 3.
And good.
So that's my number 3. So what do you got for number 2, Jeff? Go.
So you said that, was it Jessica that got you into this album?
Tammy.
Oh, okay. Because it came out when we were in high school. And so then I thought like
No, it
maybe
wasn't
Jessica
Jess.
knew Justin, which would be fucking crazy.
No. It was Tammy when Tammy and I first started dating in 2006, and then that's how we know Justin is through Tammy. 'Cause
But
Tammy
like
was friends
Justin
with
knows a lot of people.
I know. Well, that's true. Yeah, he could have known Jess, but
So that
no, he didn't.
I would have been surprised, but not that surprised. But okay. All right. Anyway, my number
Let's do
2 is the album of the week, Antichrist Superstar.
All right. All right. So stay tuned for the main episode. We'll get it more into that. So what do you got for number 2, Skip?
Number
Actually, I
2.
know exactly what you have for number 2.
Yeah, it's Mechanical Animals.
Oh, thank God.
All right. So what do you got?
Jeff's dismay.
Praise the Lord.
Yeah, so this was actually I'll go into it. This was my first Marilyn Manson album. Partly because everyone said don't start with it, and I was like, "Fuck you, everyone! I'm a teenager."
Well, they were probably right. I mean, actually, they were right.
Yeah,
But-
yeah. It's his most. I mean, that's one of the reasons I love about it. You know, it's ballsy in terms of, you think, you know, he becomes a huge star essentially overnight with Antichrist. You know, he explodes onto the scene. I know he'd obviously been touring for years and years before, but that's where he became like known. You know, The Beautiful People comes out, that video, and then bang, he's all over, you know, TV. He's on Letterman. He's on, you know, he's the shock factor of America, pissing parents off left, right, and center. You know, and all the heavy metal kids love it. You know, and then he goes, "Fuck that! I'm gonna make like an '80s like new wavy, really kind of cold produced synth pop. You know, I'm gonna use synths and take the distortion off the guitars a lot, and just fuck you. And if you're not coming with me, that's fine. It doesn't matter. That's ballsy, man." Billy Corgan, massively involved, uncredited, but he was hanging out with them a lot in the studio, and you can hear it in some of the chord changes and stuff. There's some pumpkins in that album. The bass just sounds fucking huge. There's a podcast that Michael Beinhorn was on where he talks about recording this album, and he talks about Twiggy's bass rig, and it's just mental. Like, and he was playing it just, you know, some of the stems of the tracks and just the bass, and you know, room shaking stuff. I could talk about this. It's a huge homage to Bowie. You know, on a cruel day, I'd say rip off. on a nice day, I'm going to say homage, and hell, I'm feeling good. So, yeah, you know, there's lyrical references, there's musical references, the sound, the way he uses acoustic guitars is a very David thing. David Bowie. It's all over, you know. I fucking love this album, man. I know Jeff clearly doesn't, but he loves to hate it, so that's something. It made him feel something.
It is true.
And you know
Yeah.
what? That's the whole point of Marilyn Manson, man. Like, you know, it's pissing you off. Fucking great. I bet he's laughing all the way to the bank. I mean, bangers. I couldn't pick just one, so I went with the starter and the ender. So Great Big White World, original title track for the record, and the record company made them change it because it sounded too racist, which is fair.
Yeah.
You know, yeah, I get that. You know, Answer the Fear of Black Planet, Great Big White World. No, Brian.
No, Brian.
I saw him open with this once on the worst Marilyn Manson live show ever. So it was a festival billing. He wasn't headlining, and he just hates that shit. He was visibly drunk as fuck. He fucked up the fight song. There's only like 5 words, and he still fucked it up. But he opened with Great Big White World, and it was amazing. That guitar line, so cool. Some really great imagery across this album. You know, I love the lyric "Dead astronaut in space." You know, again, Bowie reference. We're talking Major Tom. But and the other banger, Coma White, one of the best Marilyn Manson songs, and I can't believe you didn't get to it, Jeff, because it's so good. The guitars are all over the place. You know, Twiggy is absolutely slaying it. It's got a big anthemic chorus. You know, he excels at these sloganeering choruses. You know, it's sprawling guitars all over the place. It's an incredible way to finish a record. You know, he even revisited it with Coma Black on Hollywood. You know, I saw them play one into the other. That was intense. It's just fucking amazing song. It's full of nostalgia for me, Mechanical Animals. It's full of Bowie-isms, which I love. And obviously you guys, you're American and you're not hugely into Bowie, and none of you are hugely into the glam rock thing. So I completely understand why this is lower down in your guys' rankings. And I think it was a great call to change our album of the week. But fuck me, man. Mechanical Animals. It's I'm not going to give you a rating because obviously it would spoil where we're going. But yeah.
Yeah. All right. Awesome.
Wow.
So Mechanical Animals for you. My number 2 is Antichrist. So I won't talk about that right now. So what do you got for number 1, Jeff? Obvious what number 1 is. But
Yeah, Portrait of an American Family. The first time I ever heard this was on the way to a record store with Tyler when he was over here visiting.
No way.
Yeah.
I forced you to put it on. I said, you haven't even started your listen through. Let's just throw it on the way while we're driving today. And you just laughed. Cake and Sodomy came on. I remember you just like laughing. You're like, what the fuck is this?
I know
So
it
funny.
is.
I'm like, oh, God, here we go.
Specifically the line, I am the god of fuck. And I was like, did he just say I am the god of fuck?
And then he repeats it
I
so
just
much.
started laughing. I said, this is so fucking stupid. But this is a stupid that I can get behind because this is like this got some serious like punk vibes coming off of it because that's what like punkers like to do is just shock people. And the song like Organ Grinder, right? That one got like some serious spunk to it. It's a lot more fun than I thought it would be. And overall, this album was a lot more fun than I thought it would be. But then I couldn't really quite understand if this was like if Manson didn't take it seriously, if he did take it seriously. I still, that's still up in the air. I don't know. But I do think this is a really fun album. And like some of the songs, the sound of some of the songs is a little too polished and not quite like as gritty as some of the other stuff that he'll eventually do. But I think that's just because of like the production. And sometimes the album does get a little bit too 9-inch nailsy for me, but it's never bad and it's never enough for me to want to turn it off. And honestly, like the longer I got into the album, the more fun I had with it, the more I really liked it. Because it's just a perfect amount of fun mixed with someone who's really trying really, really hard to be different and carve out like his own style. And that's fine. I have nothing wrong with someone, especially in a capacity of showman or art, trying to create their own iconic style and image and then put the sound kind of last. because aside from this one and Antichrist Superstar, I think the image always kind of now supersedes the sound. Whereas in the first two, I think the sound complemented the image perfectly. And that's why I love the first two. Plus, Smells Like Children. Fantastic. But Dope Hat. Dude, Dope Hat was so good. It was fun. It was bouncy. And the solo was so stupid. It was so dumb. And I'm like hoping that it's just supposed to be like an annoying contrast to the music on the song. And I loved it. But then also the next song too, Get Your Gun. Dude, what a perfect 1-2 punch there. And then Get Your Gun, that bass line is one of the best things that I've just personally, I've listened to on all of his albums. Fucking love it. Amazing.
Yeah, Dope Hat's great. So fun.
That is a good one. It is a good song.
Yeah.
It's a great fucking record. It really is.
It is. I find it odd that you put that as your number one, but you hate shit like Frankenstein drag queens. I just
Because
There he
Frankenstein
is.
drag queens, it's just it's just power chords. This beat me down.
Oh
with
yeah,
power
no.
chords. Oh my god.
Our Portraits is better than anything that Frankenstein drag queens have ever released.
Hey,
Absolutely.
Hey.
Watch your fucking mouth over here.
Like you,
Yeah,
you,
what are you
you
gonna do? Come
have
over
to
and smack
understand,
me?
like Frankenstein drag queens is literally just beat you down with power chords in Ramon
fine.
style, which is I'm not saying is bad. I'm just saying that's why I don't like them. That's why I can tolerate 2 songs by Frankenstein drag queens from Planet 14 because it's the same fucking thing over and over and over and over and over. Same with Murder Dolls.
Murder Doll's first album. That's great. Tyler's right. On that
I mean,
one.
most of that Murder Dolls record was Frankenstein's.
Yeah,
anyway.
I know,
But-
but it's just that was my.
They were redone.
yeah.
They were redone.
Man, I had that on CD at the same time I had these Manson albums. Fuck me, I listened to Murder Dolls a lot in high school.
Yeah. Oh man, Murder Dolls. One day we'll do that record, Jeff. We'll
Just
do it.
Fuck
like-
it, no.
Just imagine
you would do
if the Ramones just replaced all of their lyrics with just goofy shit like Frankenstein. It was the same band. It's the same
No,
fucking
it's not
thing.
the same band.
It's the
No,
same
it's not the
thing.
same band.
Just all downstroke power chords with goofy lyrics. That's it. Boring.
That's straight silly boy talk.
Move on.
All right, Skip. What do you got for number 2? Or I think we
Number
know what we
one.
got for number 2. Or number 1.
bro.
Yeah, 1.
Yeah,
sorry.
number 1
Shit.
is our album of the week.
Antichrist Superstar.
Antichrist.
All right.
Hell yeah.
So my number 1 is Hollywood. I mean, you touched upon so much of it, the history of it, the kind of the background of it, why it was written, and I think this is this is easily their most aggressive record, without a doubt. It still keeps a lot of that ambience and the weirdness, but it really kind of doubles down on the aggressiveness, which I know Jeff and I even agree to an extent. He's not as aggressive as he's portrayed to be, but a song like the Fight Song, I mean, that's my favorite song on the record. There's some really great screaming on this song and this record in general, and I think this album is absolutely killer. I would love to have this on vinyl, but like a actual official pressing on the market, it goes for on Discogs. It goes for like I think $250-$300. So
Yeah, it's
at
about
that
what I've
point,
seen over here.
at that point, I might as well get Dogs Eating Dogs. I'd rather get that EP than get Hollywood.
Yeah,
But
no, fair.
it's expensive. It's expensive, and this is the first one, like you said, with John 5, and the last with Twiggy. This was just a solid fucking record from front to back. It has a lot of like the not creepiness, but it still has like the very dark electronic moments. But then the next song will come on, and it's just like it punches you in the face with its intensity. And I don't understand how Jeff ranked this one so low. I think what it was he was just so bummed out and pissed off about Mechanical Animals, so he was already had a he went. I think he went into this with a bad mindset. That's what it is, because it makes no sense as to why this one is so low. Because this one is like the polar opposite of Mechanical Animals.
I am
Complete opposite.
I am way more willing to listen to Hollywood again than I am Mechanical Animals, because you're probably right. Like I was so dumbfounded at Mechanical Animals and how bad it was. So maybe it's just Hollywood. I should give that another shake.
I mean,
I will never
I
go
think
back to Mechanical. Even Skip said that the last song was good. I'm just not going to listen to it. I literally just do not care.
I mean, I was going to say that because you like We Are Chaos so much, and We Are Chaos basically is just rewriting Coma White like 10 times. I honestly think you should go back and just hit that one song. It's 5 minutes. I know you won't, Jeff, but you should. And then Hollywood, start to finish. Yeah, because it's so fucking good.
I'm
Great. This is a great
more
album.
likely to give Hollywood another shot. Maybe I should, because I was in a bad mood.
Well, okay. How about this with your post pod listen? Because we that's what you and I do. Whenever we do a podcast, we give the album of the week one last listen before we set it to the side for a while. So when you re-listen to Antichrist after that, throw on Hollywood. Completely skip Mechanical. Just throw on Hollywood after, and then just see if you have a different. I'm really curious if you'll think differently about this record.
Okay, I will.
It's so different from Mechanical Animals.
I will. I will. I'm probably going to do Antichrist again tonight, and then if I'm up for it, then I'll put on Hollywood again tonight.
Man, it's solid. It's solid. So that's my number one. So we're done. We did the Marilyn Manson rankings. I can't believe we did it. It's been a long one, but now we're gonna get into Antichrist Superstar. We're gonna break down that fucking record. So stay tuned for that. Listen to that. While you're listening, go give us 5 stars and all that good stuff. You know how to reach us. And that's it. That's all.
Bye.